This is the Brain Recap, the only place where we shamelessly recycle our own content and call it a deep dive.
Today we're embarking on a really fascinating exploration, trying to get our heads around what we actually mean by intelligence when we talk about artificial intelligence.
That's a huge question.
It really is. Is the smartness we seem to see in AI systems something inherent in the technology itself?
Or is it much more about how we as humans interpret what it's doing? That's the core issue we want to unpack.
That's exactly what we want to get into today. This fascinating connection between the AI's mechanics and, maybe surprisingly, how our own minds perceive its intelligence.
Okay.
But also, crucially, how we humans interact with these systems.
Right.
And the sort of core idea is that the intelligence isn't just in the code. A big chunk of it is actually in us, the ones interpreting it. AI gives us data.
And we provide the understanding, the aha moment.
Precisely. We provide the aha.
Yeah, because it's easy to just be amazed by what AI can do, to see it as this independent thinking thing.
So our mission for this deep dive is pretty clear. To understand that interplay, that kind of dance between AI systems and our own human minds. What does looking at AI tell us about our own thinking processes? Okay, let's dive in and start dissecting this. Where should we begin?
Where we should begin? Easy. By subscribing. Trust me, everything else will make sense afterwards.
Well, let's think about the usual focus of AI research. Traditionally, it's very much centered on things like system architectures, algorithms, how to scale these models up.
Like the big language models we hear so much about. The focus is on how they generate text, how accurate it is, how coherent.
Precisely. And in a lot of these studies, the human role is often, secondary.
Secondary how? We're just there to rate the output?
Often, yeah. Evaluating results or maybe interacting with the AI, but in very tightly controlled sort of lab-like environments.
Right. But you have to wonder, are we really just observers here?
What if we're actually kind of essential to making it seem intelligent? But when researchers did look at the human interaction part, what did they find? Anything surprising?
Yeah, definitely. One really consistent finding is how much trouble people actually have telling AI stuff, apart from human-made stuff.
Oh, really? Across the board?
Seems like it. Studies with different age groups, different education levels.
Yeah.
People generally struggle to say, okay, this image or this text or even this audio, was this made by a person or an AI?
That really makes you stop and think, right? If the line is that fuzzy.
It does.
What does that say about, creativity, originality? Yeah. It connects to another interesting point. Our psychological reactions to advice from AI.
Okay. How do we react? Are we trusting? Skeptical?
Initially, studies suggest, maybe a bit skeptical, people tend to rate AI as less competent than human experts at first.
That makes sense, intuitively.
And this is the interesting part, that perception can shift. If people have positive experiences with AI advice, if it seems helpful or accurate,
their trust goes up?
It tends to, yes. Their confidence in the AI's abilities increases.
So if the AI gives us good advice, we start to think it's smarter. But does that trust reflect actual AI intelligence? Or is it more about us interpreting the positive outcome? Or are we just seeing what we maybe want to see?
You've hit on a really crucial point there. While so much discussion focuses on the impressive performance of AI, what it can do, the human element often gets sidelined when we ask if it's truly intelligent or if it can think.
Right. The performance is undeniable, but the nature of that performance? The core idea is this. AI outputs, basically. They're just raw information, data points. They don't have meaning baked into them. No inherent understanding.
Right. Just stuff. Patterns maybe, but just stuff, waiting for something.
Exactly, waiting. So where does that feeling, that spark of, wow, that's intelligent, actually come from?
Okay, I'm guessing us.
It comes from us, from our own brains, our ability to give it meaning, pull in context from our own knowledge, decide if it's valuable or useful. That's what turns the raw output into something that feels intelligent.
We're the ones connecting the dots.
We are the dot connectors. The AI provides the dots, the raw material, but we build the picture. We construct the understanding.
That feels like a really key distinction. It's not just the AI's power, but what we bring to the table when we interact with it.
So picture a big multi-level shopping mall.
Okay.
You walk in the main entrance, and there's a sign right there. Welcome to the shopping mall.
Yeah.
Pretty standard.
Yep, got it.
Then, say you take the escalator up one floor. As you get off, there's another sign. It says, You are now on level 2. Here's a list of the stores on this level.
Right. Helpful directory.
And this continues. Every level, maybe key junctions, there are signs giving you information about where you are and what's nearby.
Okay, so my first impression might be, wow, this mall kind of knows what's going on. It knows its own layout. It knows I'm on level 2. It feels sort of, well, organized. Smart, almost.
Exactly. That's the initial feeling. It seems aware. But then let's break it down. What's really happening?
Well, the signs, they're just fixed there, aren't they? Someone put them up.
Precisely. They're static. Pre-programmed, you could say. The mall itself isn't like tracking you with sensors and thinking, this person just arrived on level 2. Let me update their sign.
No, it's not adapting the information in real time based on me specifically. It's just displaying what it was told to display there.
Correct. It's a preset information system. There's no consciousness, no adaptive intelligence in the mall itself.
So the smartness I felt, where did that actually come from, if not the mall?
It came from you, the shopper.
Yeah.
The intelligence in that scenario is located squarely in the customer's brain.
Okay. Because I'm the one reading the sign.
Yes, you read level 2. You read the store directory. You connect that information to your goals. I need shoes, or where's the food court? You relate it to your memory of other malls, your expectations.
I'm doing the mental work. I'm interpreting the static signs and making them useful for me.
You're doing all the heavy lifting, cognitively speaking. The mall's apparent intelligence, its helpfulness, its organization, it only comes alive because you can process that static information and weave it into your own thoughts, plans, and understanding.
So the mall provides the inert information, but I provide the intelligence by interpreting it. That makes it really clear.
It's a great illustration, isn't it? It shows that intelligence isn't always just a feature of the system or the information itself.
That's the core of the analogy, and it leads to an even broader concept, this idea that fundamentally everything can be viewed as information.
Everything? How so?
Well, think about the universe. Every interaction, every event, every particle state, it's all information being exchanged or represented within this vast, complex system.
From, like, the cosmic microwave background radiation left over from the Big Bang?
To the sound of a leaf falling in your garden. It's all part of this universal flow of information.
Okay, that's quite a perspective. But what's the catch?
The catch is that even though information is everywhere, most of it remains meaningless noise without an interpreter. Without a mind, a cognitive system, capable of receiving, processing, and assigning significance to it.
Right, it's just potential meaning until something or someone makes sense of it.
Absolutely. And bringing it back to AI, these systems are incredibly powerful information processors. They generate and manipulate information at speeds and scales we can barely comprehend.
But they aren't necessarily interpreting it in the human sense.
That's the argument. It's still us who ultimately imbue that information with meaning. We place it in context, we judge its relevance, its value, its truthfulness. We make it useful or understandable for us.
Which loops us right back to the central theme we wanted to explore today. The brain in the AI and the AI in our brains.
It seems really clear the intelligence we perceive in AI isn't separate from us.
Not at all. It's deeply, deeply intertwined with our own human capacity for interpretation, for making meaning. It's not just about what the AI spits out.
It's about what we do with that output, what we bring to that interaction.
That's right. And that intelligent mall idea, it really drives home how these systems that feel smart often rely entirely on us, on our human knack for making sense of things, both digital things and, well, physical things like malls.
Which leaves us with a pretty provocative final thought for you, the listener, to chew on. If these systems that seem intelligent really depend so much on our interpretation, what does that tell us about us? About our tendency maybe to project our own understanding onto the world, onto machines, onto buildings, onto, well, everything.
It's a fascinating question. Are we constantly seeing reflections of our own minds everywhere we look?
Yeah. Where else might we be attributing intelligence to something when really it's our own interpretive intelligence doing the work? Definitely something to think about long after this conversation.
Thank you for taking us through that complex landscape. That was the deep dive for today. We'll catch you next time.
If you think the real intelligence is in your head, prove it. Subscribe now and let's keep questioning what's really smart.